Thank you for joining our webinar where we're going to be exploring single customer view and whether it really is a competitive advantage or actually a drain on company resources. I'm Sarah Woolven, Digital Results Director at Appius, a UK-based digital agency and a premium Sitefinity partner. I'm presenting today with Stuart Lane, our Head of Experience and Engagement, and Heather Berube, a Senior Sales Engineer at Sitefinity. In terms of a rough agenda, across the first 25 minutes, Stuart and I are going to be exploring the challenges and benefits of single customer view. And then for the second half, Heather will be demoing how Sitefinity can help you to get the most out of your customer data and insights. We have some polls and some interactive questions at the end of the presentation, and we're going to wrap up with a live Q&A, so you have plenty of time to get your questions ready. We wanted to understand how important single customer view is to B2B and B2C organisations across different sizes and sectors. And for those who do view it as important, where they are in the delivery. We held a roundtable event and we invited digital leaders to contribute to the research via a short online survey. I'm going to share the link to this at the end of the session, as we'd love to hear your experiences and add these to our research. Today's webinar is going to share our findings, including where organisations are seeing the greatest value and the most common challenges and hurdles, plus what we've learned is key to a successful delivery. One of the first things we learned was that single customer view or 360-degree customer view or unified customer view didn't just have different names. It actually means slightly different things to different organizations. For the purposes of this presentation, however, we're talking about the creation of a single location that captures and stores data from every interaction a customer has with your brand or organization. So what did we find were the top benefits for organizations of single customer view? The first was the prioritization of their sales activity. 75% of CMOs are being asked to deliver increased results whilst also cutting budgets. Many organizations that we spoke to were seeing sales and marketing teams having their budgets reduced and their headcounts freezed across 2023, but at the same time were being asked to deliver increased leads and growth. To achieve this, sales and marketing teams need to work smarter, and having better customer insight allows prioritization of activity on the customers that are most likely to convert. Organizations that are able to use lead scoring and data modeling to understand customer propensity to buy can use this to focus their resources on the low-hanging fruit. Whether that's producing better qualified leads through tracking their online intent, pointing their sales rep at the most engaged customers, or laser targeting their digital advertising spend. The example on screen is from one of our customers, GCI, who used lead scoring on their website to improve the performance of their B2B lead generation campaigns in the highly competitive tech sector. They captured data from the website activity and scored them based on a commitment level. In their model, downloading a white paper was scored 10 points, reading a case study 5, and engaging with other forms of communication such as email, blog posts, and social media were all tracked, allowing a score to build normally over a number of visits. Once a prospect had reached a certain number of points, this automatically created a sales opportunity in their dynamic CRM for their business development team to follow up. The sales team were able to prioritize calling the prospects that had already shown an interest, which immediately led to a higher percentage of quality conversations. And having the insight into areas of interest prior to the call also helped their sales team to tailor the conversation early on, transitioning them from cold calls to warm calls and achieving a better performance with the same call rate and the same size team. Another clear advantage of tracking customer behavior is the ability to upsell, cross-sell, and increase revenue by understanding customer preference. A basic example of this can be achieved from the very first interaction. Customer A puts trainers into their basket. They probably like trainers. Here's some other products that people who like trainers also like. And platforms like Sitefinity can start optimizing the experience from the very first visit. And Heather's going to demo these features for you later on. Companies that can migrate to a more sophisticated strategy can use customer interactions to create a bespoke one-to-one experience. For example, if you know it's almost my birthday, I get paid on a Friday, I have a teenage daughter, I only buy things in the sale, and I tend to build up a basket over several visits, I rarely return clothes, and I have a general tendency to overshare personal information, Building a detailed understanding of behavior and preferences means that the products, offers, and timing of the customer experience that you can create will absolutely influence me to spend more. And I think Stuart's going to talk to a little bit about how we've used that outside of e-commerce and actually into the finance space.
Thanks, Sarah. Yes, while the e-commerce case is quite clear, as Sarah's mentioned, single customer view adds value in a lot of sectors. In financial services, our work with Teachers Building Society shows how just taking the first steps in a single customer view rollout can add value, even where the online journey ends in applications rather than sales. So for teachers, we developed a range of unique Sitefinity personas based on their key customer segments. Their proposition is tailored towards teachers, but they also serve non-teachers. So we've classified into saving, non-teacher, saving organisation, saving teacher, and all of the mortgage interests as well, like holiday let interests. And Sitefinity Insight lets Teachers Building Society personalise the content to users by these persona groups. For example, a different product push on the homepage of the website. We use this for targeted lead generation and cross-sell, and typical results are 10% plus conversion uplifts from personalized content. We also split test with Sitefinity Insight, so the single user is seeing only the split tested variant that was shown to them throughout the whole duration of the test. And again, typical results would be over 1.5% uplifts from split tested winners. And Sitefinity Insight tracks all of these variants and their impact down to a very granular level. So single customer view strategies are also valuable for customer retention and re-engagement within organizations. So having clear data that can demonstrate when a previously loyal customer stops engaging can be very valuable. In the B2B space, we see this being used quite successfully for some companies with global distribution networks. This client here is one of ours called Hoya, and they operate globally. So a single customer view allows healthy customer behavior patterns to be modeled, meaning that unusual patterns can alert service teams, account managers, or business development managers for follow-up. So Hoya used the data to understand which opticians in the network are engaging with the sales and marketing content or ordering in unusual patterns. In these scenarios, alerts are then sent to the local market team to prioritize customer engagement activity. Single customer view is also hugely important for a joined up customer service experience. We've all had to interact with a brand who's diversified into multiple channels, leaving us kind of on repeat, providing the same information and status over and over again before we can get our needs met. So a single customer view strategy here, where the data has been made actionable in each of the channels, ensures a seamless customer experience, which means more happy and retained customers giving positive reviews on influential and publicly available websites like Trustpilot. Lastly from me, while AI takes many forms, switching to a single customer view strategy is needed to form a digital version of your value add that can be relevant to your individual customer in the way that you would be if you were sat in front of them. It's impossible to apply truly efficient, accurate, and appropriate AI for your customers without consolidating your data. Some low-risk sectors can get by with machine learning, for example, AI-generated combinations of clothing to make outfits that are being presented on a fashion website, get evaluated and presented by popularity. However, depending on your sector, the risk of impersonal AI could be really great. For example, services for life insurance or health issues. Capturing your own brand and service value into your AI, which is unique to you, might be the biggest influence on your company value for the next 5 to 10 years. But only with a single customer view can the AI learn, act, and be measured in the right way to develop it successfully. I'll hand back to Sarah at this point.
So the majority of organisations that we spoke to, regardless of sector, felt that single customer view was a competitive advantage, and Gartner research agrees. 82% of organisations are aspiring to achieve single customer view. but only 14% believe that they've made it. Customer data and insight being valued is nothing new, so why has it been so difficult for many organizations to make significant progress? One of the main challenges is that customer data does not sit cleanly in a single part of your organization. Rather, it spans all departments, many of which don't have sales, marketing, or digital within their roles and objectives. This can mean that many digital transformation projects fail. Teams that are not bought in can contribute to poor quality and inconsistent data and can fail to properly adopt new tools and processes. We found that the most successful organizations had a shared company vision and clearly defined departmental roles contributing to their data strategy. We also found that organizations that were the furthest along in their rollout had senior representation from all departments at digital transformation steering boards that sat customer data at the very center of their operation.
As Sarah said, genuine end-to-end single customer view can be really expensive from a technical point of view. Organizations often need to invest in system upgrades, new technology, and actually connecting all of these systems independently can be the kind of challenge that just gets the development teams and the technical teams turning away, saying we'll get to that next year. Implementing data platforms, data layers, enabling your experience platform in the right way, marketing automation technology, CRM systems, and getting all the knowledge and skills together to create the right technical architecture can be a sizable investment. So organizations need to make sure they have a clear path to achieving results quickly and iteratively without waiting for years of digital transformation to deliver this return on investment. Finally, the more data you capture and the more use you're making of your data, the stronger your data protection and governance processes need to be. In Europe, achieving GDPR, or in the UK's version of GDPR, or even sector-specific regulation like consumer duty for financial services means you absolutely have to get this right. The more sensitive your data and your business proposition, the more important this becomes. For example, a B2C healthcare proposition with major health or financial considerations and risks will benefit greatly from a single customer view, but only if it's done right and if the data is used in an actionable way that can't hurt people's health or finances.
So, what are the top tips for making a rollout like this successful? I think one of the first things to recognize is that there's not a one-size-fits-all strategy that's right for every organization. Understanding where you are and where you want to get to is a vital first step in the process. We use digital maturity models to help organizations to do this. This model looks at each area of your organization and evaluates where you are now versus where you want to be. For most organizations, it's not desirable or beneficial to be fully transformed across every aspect. Working across your organization, we can evaluate your current capability across some key pillars. We'll often look at things like measurement and insights, data management, customer intelligence, content execution, marketing automation, and personalization, and then establish where the tipping point of benefit versus investment sits for you. This allows the creation of a tailored customer data strategy and the Martech suite to fit, designed to maximize short and medium return on investment. Being able to create a plan that demonstrates an incremental performance uplift alongside a phased approach to rollout and investment is crucial for senior leadership buy-in and delivery success. I think one of the best quotes we had from the responses was that each phase needed to wash its own face before reinvesting in the next one. And that was the methodology that they had to this type of investment across their organization.
So a common strategy that's formulating for many organizations is to avoid trying to create two-way integrations between each system or trying to make any given system the master. For example, trying to stretch your CRM solution to hold data from 4 or 5 other systems that it's just not designed to do. So the alternative strategy is to make a data lake designed to bring in all of the customer information, interactions, and outcomes into one new pool of data, if you will, an unstructured pool of data. And then the next step is to create lake houses of organized data with governance, place reporting on top for management information, and then get the insights to inform your strategy and where you can act. Lastly, to make the information in the data lake houses actionable, the data lake has to pass data back and forth with your Martech stack, where you can action your sales and service objectives at the user level. We've also found that within organizations, this whole agenda asks whole new questions of the roles and the skill sets that you have. Even in my team, we've spent the last 2 or 3 years recruiting data scientists to roll out GA4 for some more straightforward projects, but also to inform this agenda of single customer view and how to get the most out of your systems. So all the roles involved in data are now more important in your organization, will need to be supplied by your agency to support your strategy. You'll find that projects need new project level roles as well. Digital and data with the roles to back them are now central to your strategy rather than just in support.
Thanks, Stuart. And the final key to success is to make sure that you're investing in the right technology. It's all very well capturing customer data and insight and having it in a central location, but you need the right technology stack to be able to do anything with it. This requires a scalable and easy to integrate digital experience platform. So now I'm going to hand over to Heather at the Progress Sitefinity team, who's going to showcase a little bit what Sitefinity can deliver in this space. Now I've got to work out how to transfer.
Thanks, Sarah. I'll actually grab the screen control.
Perfect. Thanks, Heather.
We're going to go over Sitefinity Insight today, and so I'll provide you some information around how you can capture, different customer interactions, be able to make insight-driven decisions, and then collecting all this information, really be able to optimize the user experience using the Sitefinity CMS. So let's get into it. Let me see. First, we want to talk about, what is Sitefinity Insight? In essence, Sitefinity Insight, it really operates as a customer analytics and personalization platform. It focuses on aggregating and leveraging customer data to improve engagement, and it helps you deliver personalized experiences and drive business growth. So I would really say Sitefinity Insight is somewhat analogous to a customer data platform. So the reason I say that, Sitefinity is really analogous to a customer data platform, well, in today's modern digital world, customers interact with your company and brand through a number of different channels, not just your website. So each typically accumulating customer data in a disparate system. And no matter what channel they choose, customers really expect a personalized, seamless, and continuous experience, regardless of how they interact with your company or brand, from their phone to their tablet to their laptop. And so what Sitefinity is able to do is aggregate and organize customer data from various sources to really create a unified customer profile, providing a holistic single customer view. So it offers features that allow businesses to really analyze customer behavior, create segments, and personalized experiences. And so this is really a marketecture diagram. It really shows the flow of the data from your CRM and marketing automation tools, as well as your website and other offline sources, to Sitefinity Insight. And also note that there's a bidirectional flow of data from Insight back to your marketing automation tools in this diagram. This is the same for your CRM and other platforms. So as Sarah and Stuart were mentioning, we're able to take information from Sitefinity Insight and actually push that information back to your other applications that you use to manage your organization. So tools that your sales team might be using, for example, to reach back out to customers. So we can provide that data directly to them in the interface that they're used to working with. The data can be used to optimize the user's experience, again, via personalization, A/B testing, targeting campaigns, and more. And there are several ways to get that data in and out of Sitefinity Insight. And these include, but aren't limited to, native CMS integrations, GTM, iPaaS automation via the Sitefinity Integration Hub. We also have webhooks built into Sitefinity to pass data along. And then we also have REST APIs and manual file uploads. And I'll actually be showing you the manual file upload option today. So what is an interaction? Really, the interaction is made up of 4 different fields. Insight collects and utilizes data based on interactions. And so anytime somebody's performing some sort of user behavior, we refer to that as an interaction. We're able to track that information. There are 4 fields that really make up an interaction. We have our date, which identifies the date and the time that the interaction occurred. The type, so the type will indicate the type of interaction that occurred. This could be something like a page view, maybe a CRM action, or a document download. And the descriptor really provides information around the object. So it identifies the object that was interacted with. So for example, it might be the URL of the page that was viewed, a lead that was converted to an opportunity, or maybe the name of a document, that was downloaded. So the who indicates whether the one performing the interaction is a known user or known contact based on personally identifiable information, or if they're anonymous. And we can track both known contacts as well as anonymous contacts, and we can optimize both their experience, but it's really great to have that that single customer view that Sarah was talking about, and that really provides us that known contact as well. We can delve deeper into their profile and actually look at a timeline customer journey. So those are interesting when you get that much information. So again, we can track both, but if we know who they are, again, we can contact, we can go deeper into that profile and really be able to analyze it, which we'll actually show you today. So again, these interactions can be tracked from multiple channels. We have interactions that can be online and on-site. Online and on-site interaction examples might include page views, a video view, a form being submitted on your website, so a search that's performed on your website with a particular search term, or maybe a file download, again, all on your managed site. And then we also have interactions that might be online and offsite. So some online but offsite interaction examples might include an interaction with paid search results, an interaction with your brand through social media, or a webinar that someone attended, similar to the webinar that we're on today. It could be an interaction with an email marketing campaign. So again, lots of different offsite but online interactions can occur, and we can collect that information. So again, being able to collect that information from multiple channels. And we may also have interactions that we want to collect that are offline interactions. So that might include an outbound marketing interaction, or maybe a product renewal, maybe telephone inquiries coming in through your support team or your sales team, as well as somebody attending a conference and coming up to your booth. So those are examples of some offline interactions that you may also want to collect data about. And again, we can collect that information in a number of different ways. It might be by somebody logging that information in your CRM and grabbing it from the CRM, or it might be somebody just doing an upload file, like a CSV file, uploading information from a conference that people attended, and you've collected, for instance, their business cards to reach back out to them. In our previous slide, we talked a lot, or slides, we really talked a lot about the different types of interactions that we can collect. So again, Insight's all about collecting user data and interactions, but how do we use those interactions within Insight? We use those interactions to really measure the performance of key conversions and touch points. And we also use that information to get to know who our audience is and where they are in their customer journey. So to break it down even further, with regards to measuring performance, we want to track our key business goals and understand what attributes to them. So touch points are marketing initiatives that aim to optimize conversions. They should be measured for their impact and effectiveness. And they are considered a single interaction. So as we track touch points, that's kind of the key information you want to understand about touch points. Now, touch points can attribute to our conversion. So again, when we put touch points together, the idea of our touch points, and again, those can be across multiple channels, is to drive people towards particular business goals. And that's what a conversion is considered. So a conversion is your key business goals. They have a direct correlation or impact to the business and can be positive or negative. And they also can consist of one or more interactions. So we want to track our conversions and really understand if the touch points we've crafted are positively attributing to our conversion rates. And we utilize attribution models and uplift reports within our Sitefinity Insight user interface to determine this. Now, we also want to understand who our audience is and where they are in their journey so we can provide the most optimal user experience. Now, we can segment our audience out into key personas and personalize the experience based on key attributes, behaviors, and interactions. So personas really tell us who someone is using defined interactions or contact properties. So as Sarah was talking about building out a point structure, this is where we start using interactions and we can associate points with different interactions that somebody's performing, whether that's on your website or through those offline or offsite interactions. It's going to tell us, who somebody is. So we define interactions and contact properties and then assign the points to the contact or visitor. Once a specified threshold is crossed, then they are identified with that particular persona. So even though we may know who someone is, we may want to further optimize their experience based on where they are in a particular journey or funnel that we're looking at. And so lead scoring helps us tell where someone is in a particular journey. So just like a persona's lead scores are driven based on those defined interactions and associating points with the user based on their user behavior and interactions. But instead of a single threshold, we break up a lead score out into a series of stages that represent the stages within your funnel, for example, or your journey that you're trying to get them to go down. So lead scores have multiple stages, each with their own threshold. And so as we get in, we'll take a look at personas and lead scores and examples of those in the context of the demo that we're going to provide. And so again, that kind of brings us to setting the stage for our demonstration today. So we want to see how we can capture and use the data that we're tracking to measure and optimize the experience of our audience. So to set the stage for the demo today, I'm going to be playing the role of Marge Simpson, who's in her mid to late 30s and interested in buying a home. So Marge is a Coriander Lane Bank customer with multiple accounts, and she's recently been searching for home finance options. She's used the Coriander Lane Bank online mortgage rate calculator, and she's also visited the mortgage product pages within the site several times. So with that, let's get into our demonstration. And so for today's demonstration, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start off by using our Coriander Lane Bank website. So this is a Sitefinity managed website. We're using the Sitefinity CMS to create and manage the content for the site. When we look at this page, notice the initial call to action here. It's really a general statement. So it's saying that, Coriander Lane provides recommended credit cards, but it's not just about credit cards, it's credit cards and more. So again, you'll see that below the main tagline, we see that Coriander Lane Bank offers personalized banking, business solutions, institutional banking, and more. So we're kind of promoting the credit cards, but also the other products that we have. And what we want to do is understand who a user is coming to the site, maybe what products they're interested in. So how can we do that? So what we're going to start with today is we'll hop into our Progress Sitefinity Insight dashboard. And so this dashboard is where we come to review the information that's being collected by Sitefinity Insight. So at the top, you'll notice that we are able to track things like conversions, touch points, all visitors coming to the site, as well as visitors that become known contacts. So we call them a new contact. We can track this information over periods of time, and then we can delve into the individual reporting for each of these types of interactions that we're tracking and delve deeper into the analytics around those. We also have the ability to identify and break our site visitors out into different personas based on their user behavior and interactions. And so we're going to dive into this in a little bit. But this is kind of a breakdown of the top personas that we have built out in our tracking within our Sitefinity Insight user interface, as well as the lead scoring type. So again, our personas tell us who someone is, where our lead scores, as you'll notice, break out into different stages. So it really tells us where somebody might be in their user journey or the sales funnel that we've built out for them. So this type of information is important. But how do we collect the information? So there's a number of different ways that we can collect the information. First, I'm going to hop back over to Sitefinity Insight, and we'll go into the interface for our Sitefinity CMS. So this is where we manage all the aspects of our website and create our pages and our content. So under the dashboard within Sitefinity Insight, we have the ability to integrate to Sitefinity Insight using a Sitefinity Insight connector. And it's very easy to set up. The Sitefinity Insight connector simply connects Sitefinity's content management solution to a Sitefinity data center. So we can create data centers that we can collect information for. I'm currently managing multiple sites through my backend user interface, but in this instance, we're going to be specifically working with our bank site. We've connected our bank site to our My Bank data center. And so we're able to collect interactions and push those interactions that are occurring within our website over to Sitefinity Insight using the native application. Other ways that we can collect information is through uploading CSV files or automating the process using things like Azure Data Factory or even our new integration hub. That's an iPaaS-based integration hub that came out with Sitefinity 15. So let's take a look. From here, we're just going to dive into Sitefinity Insight again, and we'll talk about how we can upload data. So in this instance, I'm going to show you a manual example of uploading information into Insight, but again, that can be more of an automated process, such as our connector with our CMS. But let's see the type of data that we're going to be interacting with. So we'll come over to administration, and administration is basically where we can kind of configure and set up our Insight data centers and manage them. From here, I can come down and look at my bank data center. And in the My Bank data center, we'll notice that we have data import. So again, we have the ability to automate that process, and we can configure an automatic process using Azure Data Factory, or we can also have the ability to manually upload files. So in this instance, I'm going to import data. Now, before I select my CSV file, I'm actually going to show you the CSV file in a spreadsheet format. So again, this is an activity stream of a particular user, Marge Simpson. So we see that we have a lot of data being collected about Marge within this activity stream. And as we upload this activity stream, it's actually going to populate Marge's contact profile because we have a unique identifier. We actually know who Marge is based on her particular email. And so we're able to collect all the information about Marge and actually port it into a known contact profile. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll go ahead and select the CSV file, and we'll come over to, I believe it's under downloads, and I have my CSV file, and we'll select Marge's CSV file. We'll go ahead and open that up. And it's just going to verify the format of the CSV file first to make sure that the data is coming in a format that's expected, and it's successful. So we'll go ahead and import. And so we've imported Marge's data into the CMS, and now we're able to start looking at the information about Marge. So let's go back over to our analytics. So you'll notice I have a lot of data centers. I might do a lot of demonstrations, but typically you may only have 1 or 2 data centers available to you. Again, it's based on your configuration. So let's go into the My Bank data center. And this time, instead of looking at the dashboard, we're actually going to go into the contacts. And under the contacts, the first contact we see is Marge. So again, because we've collected a personally identifiable piece of information, we're actually able to delve deeper into Marge's profile and really analyze information about Marge. So what we can see is that we've collected a lot of different information. We can collect different attributes coming from your CRM, for example. If they've logged in or filled out a form, that information can be tracked here, and we can map that information directly to Marge's profile. And we also see that Marge is associated with a particular lead score and where she happens to be in that lead score journey. We're going to focus today on certain sections of this lead score journey when we go to create a personalization or a personalized user experience. We also can see what persona Marge is associated with. So again, a lead score tells us where somebody is in their journey, but the persona really tells us who somebody is. So we can see by Marge's interactions that she's really similar to the product savings account, but also that home loans. So she's associated with the home loans persona that we've created. And as we go further down, we can see the different conversions and touch points that Marge has interacted with. So conversions she's performed and touch points she's interacted with, as well as a timeline journey. So we can even see that Marge has opened up a new account, a savings account, and she's also has an investment account. So the fact that she's already a customer of the bank makes her a prime candidate for potentially opening up a home loan. So with that information, you can start to understand who your audience is and really start to develop out personas and lead scores around similar users based on the interactions that you're seeing being performed. Let's go ahead and take a look at our personas. So when we personalize or create personalized user experience, we're really targeting towards a group of common users. And so personas are going to tell us who somebody is. Let's go ahead and take a look at our home loan prospect. And so the home loan prospect are going to be people who, have shown an interest in our home loan products, whether it's based on their interactions on our site, maybe they've done a paid search. And so we're able to collect all that information about that user. So let's dive in and take a look at how this is created. Once we get into the home loan prospect, we can see the thresholds, the number of users that have passed a certain threshold. So these are the users that have been associated with this particular persona in a period of time. We can go ahead and again break it down based on different time frames, as well as set up custom ranges as we get into the individual reporting. And we're able to see a lot of information. So known contacts that have passed the threshold, and we can actually dive into those contacts. Maybe we want to send this out to our marketing automation tools and set up an email campaign. So we have a list of users we can automatically send out. We see the share of all visitors who are associated with this persona, and of all personas that we have people associated with, what percentage is associated with this particular persona. We have a timeline to see as people pass the threshold. And then again, we can see the visitors who have passed the threshold as well, and when those visitors pass the threshold. As we come down, we can see the contacts associated with this persona, the conversions and touch points, topics that they might be interested in. So let's go ahead and note that we have a couple of different rules that have been created. We are able to say each time somebody visits a page that contains home loans in it, we can associate points with them. Maybe if they have an open account because we feel like opening an account makes them more viable as a home loan opportunity, we can add points at that point. Again, you decide what the point structure is. If you want to do a one-time association of points, or if you want to assign points every time they perform that interaction, that's up to you. Very configurable. You even have the ability to reset them. So notice that this says reset to 0. As somebody comes through their journey, once they have a home loan, we want to retarget them and maybe target them for other products we might have. So we can reset them to 0, and that way, based on their later behaviors, they can then become associated with other personas. So they don't have to always be associated with this persona. So again, there's a lot of different things you can do when you're configuring personas, and how you associate the interactions and how you can retarget them as well. So again, personas tell us who someone is. Lead scores really tell us where somebody is in their journey. So let's take a look at our home loan journey. We see that we have several different stages here. Today, we're going to look at our consideration and application. So when somebody's in the consideration stage or the application stage, that's when we really want to drive home our targeted messaging towards these users. So home loan journey, again, it's broken out into several different stages. In this instance, rather than having a single threshold, each stage has its threshold. So as they increase their points, they're going to go from the first stage to the second to the third, and so on. And so we can see all the different stages, where people are in those stages, and we have similar analytics that we have with the as the personas, but per stage in this example. Again, created very similarly, where we create a series of rules that are going to associate a person to a certain stage within the lead score. So each time they perform one of these interactions, they'll get points associated with them. Again, you can reset them to 0 at any point based on a particular interaction. You also have the ability to set negative points as well. So if instead of just resetting them to 0, you may want to deduct points because maybe they've gone backwards in their journey, you can configure that as well. Okay. So now that we've started to understand who Marge is, we've looked at personas that Marge might be associated with and lead scoring. What we want to do is we want to understand how we can take all this information that we've collected, and now that we know who our users are and we understand where they might be in their journey, we want to start to be able to really hone in that messaging to them. So how do we do that within our managed website? So let's take a look. We're going to dive back into our actual website. And before I go there, again, I'm just going to mention that we're working on this particular website, which is our bank site. And we're going to be creating some targeted messaging in this key area on our homepage. We're going to update this call to action and really set the call to action up for managing or creating a personalized experience for somebody who might be interested in home loans, such as Marge. So we'll go ahead and open up our CMS, and I'm just going to come back out from our connector configuration. And as we come out from our connector configuration, we saw that we can connect under administration, but we have this marketing section here. And the marketing section is where we want to create our personalized user segments. So as we come into our personalized user segments, we can go ahead and take a look at how we can create a user segment that we want to target to, because it may be a combination of characteristics that we want to target towards. So here we have an existing user segment created for existing customers who might be interested in credit cards. So we want to promote credit cards to them. I'm going to go ahead and create a new user segment using the information that we've gathered within Sitefinity Insight around home loans. So let's go ahead and create that user segment. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this user segment. I'm going to call my user segment, home loan prospects. I can add a more descriptive summary here for people who might be coming in to inspect this, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and start adding my characteristics. So we can add characteristics, all sorts of characteristics, not just from Sitefinity Insight, but that integration with Sitefinity Insight helps us kind of dive deeper into known users who have performed certain interactions. So we have geographical information we can base our characteristics off of, session state information. But today I'm really going to focus on our Sitefinity Insight integration. So being able to personalize based on a persona somebody might be associated with, as well as a lead score. So let's go ahead and select our personas. And with that integration, we're able to select existing personas that we're managing within Sitefinity Insight. So let's go ahead and we're going to do existing customers who are associated with the home loan prospect persona. I'll go ahead and save that. And notice we have and or characteristics. So again, we can create a very complex user segment that we want to personalize towards. So in this instance, I not only want to target people who are in the home loan prospect, I could also say I want to also target people who might be associated with a particular lead score. And I can go ahead and say, lead score is, and we'll go ahead and choose our home loan journey. Once we've chosen the actual lead score, we want to understand what stages we're interested in targeting. So here I'm going to go ahead and choose maybe the consideration stage, and we'll go ahead and save that. And then I also want to add an additional stage. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go to lead scores, we'll select our home loan journey, and this time we're going to go ahead and select the application stage. And we'll go ahead and save. So now as people are either a persona, the home loan prospect, associated with the home loan prospect persona, maybe they're associated with a certain stage within our lead score, such as the consideration stage or the application stage, we can now present them with particular messaging. And again, as they go through that journey, you could potentially show different messaging as they travel through that journey or that funnel. But let's go ahead and create our user segment. So now that our user segment's created, I just want to note that there's a priority order here. So if I wanted to make my home loan prospects priority higher than my credit card promo priority, I can go ahead and I can actually move them up. I'm not going to do that right now, but you have that ability. So again, if I hit actions, I have the ability to move them up in that stage. But for now, let's go ahead and start personalizing our page. So we'll come to our pages section, and this is where we really start getting into creating that personalization. So we want to build out some messaging that's geared specifically towards home loan prospects. So I'm going to manage my home page. And within my homepage, I have the ability to start managing and creating personas. And so personas, creating personalized experiences for our persona and lead score. With that being said, you can create a full page personalization. You don't have to stick to a particular section of a page. I could actually create an entire page personalization. We have a menu at the top of the page that lets us do that. So if I wanted to add a personalization, I can create a full page personalization, changing out all the content, the layout, everything. But typically what you're going to see is that you're going to see personalizations occurring on key call to actions and whatnot throughout the pages of your site. So rather than creating a full page personalization, I'm just going to go ahead and create a single personalization on this one call to action that we have here. So when I add a personalization, what we're really doing is creating a variation of the same content in this instance that's going to be geared towards our home loan prospects. So let's go ahead and select our home loan prospects user segment that we've created and go ahead and click done. Now we see an indicator that we have a personalized experience being created here. And we see what personalized experience it is. It's for our user segment called home loan prospects. Once I have that set up, I can then go ahead and edit that content. And again, I can toggle back and forth between the different variations. But in this instance, I'll go ahead and click edit and we can start editing our content. So again, I'm just going to get rid of this little credit card information at the top. And what we'll do is we'll start building out our personalization. So I want to, instead of say, credit cards and more, in this instance, we'll go ahead and put mortgages and more. And we'll gear our little description at the bottom. Instead of being kind of geared towards all our products, we're really going to hone in towards the home loan products that we have. So owning a home is a big financial commitment. But with Coriander Lane Bank in your corner, you can confidently navigate the ins and outs of home ownership, for mortgages and real estate to more. So with that being said, I also have these little call to action buttons at the bottom. Let's go ahead and update those. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and we have the ability to edit it right from here. And I'm just going to go ahead and use apply now as my text for this particular button. And then we're going to go ahead and associate them to our, when they click on the button, it's going to bring them to our mortgage application. We'll go ahead and hit done. And for our second button, we'll go ahead and hit edit. And this time we're going to go ahead and have our mortgage calculator as another option so that they can maybe look at the different interest rates and calculate the mortgage type that they want. And we'll go ahead and then send them to that page that has our calculator on it. So we'll go ahead and click done from here. So we've created a personalized experience. We'll go ahead and save that. And in order to preview this, again, we can toggle back and forth from here. If I wanted to see the different variations, we have the ability to do so from here. But what I want to do is show you the preview option. So we can actually preview based on the different segments that we've created. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and hit preview. And we can just quickly preview our page. And so from here, this is again that general messaging that everybody's going to see if they don't meet the criteria for our user segment. But we can then toggle back and forth. And once I select that home loan prospect, we'll see that our messaging changes to be geared to the mortgages and more content that we put together. So again, very similar look when you're coming through, but the messaging is clearly geared towards our customers and visitors who are interested in our home loan prospects. So I think that's what I wanted to go over. Let's go back to our slide deck. And at this point, I think we'll open it up for questions.
So we have a question. What happens if users are accessing content from different devices? I think that's probably best for you, Heather.
Okay, so I think that question really is geared towards when somebody asks that, typically they want to understand if people are coming from different devices, are they viewed as a single user or multiple users? And so if they're coming from different devices, how we identify people is that are anonymous is based on a unique identifier that's stored in a cookie. So that information is going to get stored on whatever device they're on. So initially we would look at them as separate users or separate profiles based on the device that they're coming from. But once we get that known piece of information, such as an email address, that personally identifiable information helps us join all the data that we've collected on them into a single user view. So again, initially, yes, if they're anonymous, we might collect that information separately, but on any given device, all their information will be aggregated for their user identifier or unique identifier, and then we can merge it all together from all the devices once we know who that person is.
Great, thank you. Just checking the chat for any more. A question about permissions. do users have the ability to be able to stop being tracked or request that they're not tracked, and how do we deal with that?
Yes. So inside of Sitefinity Insight, you do have the ability to clean up data, so they can. You have the ability, if somebody is being tracked, to clean up their data within the backend user interface of Sitefinity Insight. We just need to understand what their unique identifier is. And again, that can be both for anonymous as well as known contacts. With anonymous, we can show them where their unique identifier would be to collect that and help clean up their data. But they also have the ability to opt out of being tracked. So again, Sitefinity is GDPR compliant, and we have the ability to allow them to accept being tracked by cookies or not, and come up with that messaging when they come to the site, letting them know that we're using cookies to track, and they can opt in or opt out. Stuart, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, looking more widely, if Heather's really described the Sitefinity specific solution well there, but if you're looking to manage that in relation to another cookie consent tool, for example, a OneTrust or a cookie script, then you can configure Sitefinity to sit within the cookie classification model of another tool. And then in something like GA4, you might want to put in place, using Google Tag Manager, some exceptions. So until somebody has accepted the classification of cookie in which the Sitefinity Insight cookie exists, we don't track any data. And then again, with configurations, we can do clever things like making sure that the cookie acceptance is done, but we're reloading the page afterwards so that we don't lose that visit for someone who has consented in relation to the page that they were trying to look at. So really important for something like a page strategy where the whole of the experience and the data being captured might be around one single landing page, and we don't want to lose sight of that once consent's been given.
That's right. And Sitefinity really is built to integrate into your strategy. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can extend the platform or integrate with other tools that that you want to use. All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, we really appreciate you joining us today, and we hope this has been helpful to you. And I think with that, we'll wrap it up. Sarah, did you have any last words?
Yeah, just that I think that we're going to be following up with an email that has the link to survey. So we'd really like to continue the conversation with you guys about where you are on your single customer view strategy. If you have any questions about how to benchmark maturity or how to start thinking about some of these topic areas, then by all means, we'd be very happy to continue this conversation offline.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.